Welcome, my allies from all around, to another episode on One Build a Day. Now, this episode is releasing 1 week later than it would have before. That is because I'm changing this up a little bit. These builds are all from the week of Saturday, or I guess Friday, February 8th to Thursday, February 14th. So this is actually going to end up being a little bit older for you guys now. And if you want to be able to check out what's been going on with these builds, you have to check out Twitter and Instagram at AlliesAllAround to be able to actually catch them when they come out. But I'm still going to showcase the videos in this series, so let's go ahead and do that week. So already, Friday and Saturday's builds have once again, just like the previous week, accidentally been procrastinated and ignored to the point where I just completely cut them out. So this build is actually from Sunday, so this is day 19 of Frozen Tomb. This one was featured on Twitter, and from the outside it doesn't really do it much justice. This is meant to be kind of an underground thing, so that's kind of the reason why we go down into like a ladder area here into what is the tomb. Down here you can kind of see that we have a nice gold arc or whatever you'd decide to call it. It's really mostly a grave kind of a thing. So if you open up the blocks of gold, you can see that there is a skull inside with a little bit of remnants of his body to be able to signify that there was once a person inside of there. Yeah, this place, I think it turned out all right. One thing I kind of realized later on was that this stone brick almost kind of seems out of place on the top. Like, obviously, it's supporting it from the top and bottom. If you go into it, this gray concrete is here so that it can go ahead and be a full structure together. But I feel like it probably could have been integrated a little bit better with the ice that's emerging from the ceiling, as this place is very cold and it's encroaching inward from the surface. So, although it turned out all right, there were some things to learn from this, like keeping the styles consistent throughout if I'm going to be able to do something like that. And yeah, let's continue onward to what is probably my favorite idea I've had in this series. Right here, you can see that for day 20, we had a snowy mountain. And it took a while to build. I had like a little arch kind of thing. I was almost like inspired by the Matterhorn in some ways. I didn't look at any reference material, so it was mostly like my mind just going ahead and being all like, right, what did the Matterhorn look like in Disneyland? And I just kind of based it off of that, just mentally. So over here, it has like a nice little shape to it and all that. And the waterfall was not originally built as part of this main build here. I just kind of got the main shape. And then for day 21, I was all like, hey, you know what? I have a frozen waterfall on my to-do list. So I'm going to combine it here to be able to create a nice little frozen waterfall and river that eventually like gets down and melts along the way. So it's very hard to create a frozen waterfall feel in Minecraft. Like, obviously there's like floating blocks and stuff here as though water particles are coming off of it. But like, I was also just basing this off of like, I forget what the falls are called in like Oregon. That's actually going to like bother me that I don't know that off the top of my head. But I have this like picture inside my house that has it when it's frozen in the winter time. So I was going off of that. Like, it almost kind of looks like the water's flowing, but it freezes just as it's flowing. So it has like the feel of motion of it going down, but just spontaneously it just created a crystallization point to where it just like ended up stopping. So obviously like it was melting down the mountain, but there was like just a bit of a freeze, and that was kind of that little bit there. We have like a little bit of terraforming around it, but that was just going to be that. But then I was all like, you know what? I want to expand this even more, and I'm going to create day 22, Frozen Civilization. So this one, I wish I had more space. I mean, I probably could have just made a two-parter and just decided, hey, I'm going to make day 23. Yeah, day 23 over there just be another extension, but I was like, nah, this is going to be the Frozen Civilization. I have like a nice fire here. if I actually set it to nighttime, I have a keyboard in front of me, so I can go ahead and just like type time set midnight. And this is actually how I took the photo as well. It has the nice little light coming from the fire with the cool chilled mountain up there. Got nice little igloos. They aren't actually filled in, they just have light at the top of them so that you can see like a little glow from the inside as though like they are being lived in. But yeah, then we have like paths around that are very much similar to what I have inside of the Craft to Play Gaming District. Or no, not that one. The Craft to Winter District on the Craftway Realm, if you watch that series. But yeah, if I had more space, I probably would have expanded the village a little bit more. I was thinking about maybe adding trees, but it's also like, it feels like it's more like at the bottom of a mountain range, and I'm not sure if that would be too realistic. I mean, there are trees at the bottom of some mountains, so I probably could have added a little bit more there. But yeah, this is basically the idea I went for. A 3-day build that all has its own like components to it that are their own separate build. So I might be able to do that more in the future, just due to the fact that it's like I think that upscaling my stuff to larger builds will also be a nice little adjustment to make it so that I don't have to do tiny things all the time. And like you can kind of see that it's like, yes, it creates a nice vibe to it where these smaller builds are what adds to the overall atmosphere of the full thing. So anyway, let's actually set the day again. So like time set noon so that we can see again. Over here is day 23. I have a chilled hallway. So I have frozen hallway earlier, but this one's just chilled. So it has like more of a basic block palette in which it uses ice and it uses snow, but that's not really the main parts of the build. So we have like the gray concrete here, I believe it is. Yep, it is. That goes through, you're able to run through. It has these end rods at the top, in which like the color palette on this I tried to make very much chilled, where it has like the snow and ice on the sides, but that's definitely not like the primary blocks within it. They're more of accents. So I think that my frozen hallways was slightly better, if not just for the fact that it was mirrored on the bottom with the ice being able to be seen through. But I do like this hallway nonetheless. And one thing about it that I like really wanted to do was have it so the end rods would be at the top like that. But I was also like, well, I'd have to make the hallway like an even number of blocks wide. So you can see that it's not quite centered on this block here, in which it has like the block palette. But I think that that's fine. As much as I really didn't want to make it off-center, I just had to because I can't limit myself when I'm building. I have to make sure that I'm not being biased in how wide my hallways are. So having it be like that just added that little bit of extra flair. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. And yeah, so now we have missed 2 extra days. We've missed 5 days in total of this series. And later on, I'm still going to be able to build more frozen builds. I didn't get to one suggestion I had. Redstone Pixels actually did suggest to me to build a frozen dwarf planet. I'll probably do that next week. So hopefully that will be fine. But I will ask you guys for a little bit more suggestions of what to build anyway. Just because I want to be able to incorporate your ideas, be able to see what I'm able to do with this whole entire thing, continuing with the Frozen theme. And I also want to know suggestions on what I should do every time I miss a day of the One Build a Day series. Since there's 5 of them now, I have 5 tasks I need to do, but I don't know what to do for those tasks. So those are the 2 things I'm going to ask for you. But yeah, anyway, I would promise that this video would go on forever, but that would be a lie. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, as well as checking out my series on Craftaway and other things like that. But until next time, this has been Frontline, and I'll be seeing you guys all later. Bye.